Good morning, all. Let's start. So today's topic is Terraform. So what is exactly Terraform? Terraform is a scripting language. Okay, Terraform is a scripting language. Okay, is introduced by HashiCorp company. HashiCorp HashiCorp people introduced the Terraform. So that is why you call this as a HCL. HCL is nothing but HashiCorp language. Uh, SQL is nothing but HashiCorp language. Okay, it is introduced by HashiCorp. Now, why do we use Terraform? So generally, till now, how we have worked it? So we have created resources using manually. For example, we are working on Azure. So everything we have learned on how to create resources using manually, like GM mode. So the same way, if you learn AWS, so this is manually. Now, Azure has own scripting language called ARM templates. ARM templates. And AWS has own scripting language called Cloud Formation templates. Now, why do we use scripting? So the manual task which we have worked with that can be automated using scripting. Okay, you no need to create manually. So by using scripting language, you can automate your infrastructure build. Okay. Now in Azure, you have ARM templates. By using ARM templates, you can automate infrastructure build on Azure. At the same way, by using cloud formation templates, you can automate infrastructure build on AWS. So AWS cloud formation template is native tool of AWS, and ARM templates is native tool of Azure. So by using ARM templates, you cannot configure on AWS. At the same way, by using Azure, by using cloud formation templates, you cannot configure on AWS, Azure. So this is the native tools of that. Now, presently in the market, Terraform is booming market. So why in the sense Terraform supports multiple providers. That is the main reason. Terraform supports multiple providers. So what are those providers? Azure, AWS, GCP, Oracle Cloud, Oracle Cloud. So n number of clouds Terraform supports. Around 2 to 300 plus providers Terraform supports. So that is the reason Terraform is a boom in the market. If you learn Terraform right, okay, if you learn Terraform, even you can work on Azure, even you can work on AWS. So but the basic fundamental light, it would be changed. But if you know Terraform, you can work on any language. This is all the Terraform supports multiple providers. Okay. Now let us see about Terraform advantages. What is the advantage of a Terraform? So meanwhile, yeah, Terraform advantages. The first, as I said, it supports multiple multiple providers, and it is idempotent. So what is idempotent? Let me show you. Terraform idempotent. So Terraform configuration is idempotent when a second apply results in zero changes. So what it means? So what it means in the sense, so if you write a code, if you write a code in a file stating RG creation, okay, you write a code on the Terraform stating that resource group need to be created. So when you run this code, the resource group will create on the Azure. Okay, a resource group will create on the Azure. Okay. Now if you run the same script again, it will not touch the infrastructure at all. It won't touch it. Generally, it just say that it is zero to apply. I mean, no configuration changes are required. So this is what idempotent. If you don't, if, in case if you are using PowerShell or some other script, right? If you run the same script, what will happen? This resource group will redeploy. The first time, if you run your code, the resource group will create. If the same script run on second time in PowerShell or Bash script, what will happen? This resource group will redeploy it. I mean, recreate it. But whereas Terraform, so once you run this code, resource group will create. Second time, if you run the code, it will say zero to changes. It doesn't change anything. It just say that it will ignore changes and say that configuration, no configuration changes required. That is called idempotent. Now Terraform is idempotent and Ansible is also idempotent. Okay. Now can dry run the script. I mean, you can plan the script. So what it means? So I'll do one thing. I'll go here. Here it is my Azure portal. So even you can run bash scripting as well. So click on this. Just using some code. This is AZCLI code. Okay. Mm, okay. Now you can see this is Azure, and Azure supports two scriptings on Cloud Shell. Bash scripting it will support. It will even support PowerShell scripting. So if you switch, it will convert to the PowerShell IDE. Okay. Okay. Now I'll change it to Bash. Now I'll copy this. I'll to create a resource group. I need to use this. Okay. I'll copy the command, paste it. So when I run it, what happens? Immediately my resource group is created. My resource group is created under eWest use location. What is this? AZ group create with the name demo resource group. Location is West US. I'll close it. A2. What Azure resource group? And you can see the resource group is created by default. So what it does exactly when I run my script, it immediately created the resource group. But Terraform, what Terraform does, you have an advantage on Terraform stating that you can dry run the script. What is dry run the script? When you run the script, right, it will show I am going to create these resources, but it won't create. By looking at the screen, you can see yes, if everything is fine, you can apply later. So by the same you can plan it. When you plan it, it will show what it is going to install, but it doesn't install. If you want to install, you can use Terraform apply command. So Terraform plan command is nothing but it will show you what it is going to install. Now again another import manually created resources into Terraform. So what is exactly? Generally in companies, they manage whole infrastructure via Terraform. In case, I mean, if you want to create any resources, if you want to create any tag, anything that needs to be configured via Terraform only. You should not create any resources manually. Like this, you should not create any resources manually. So in case if you create a resources by using manually, you cannot manage via Terraform. So to manage by Terraform, then you need to import this resource group to Terraform. Then you will be able to manage it. So Terraform has an advantage that yes, you can even import manually created resources under the Terraform. That is the advantage you have in the Terraform. Okay. Now again, Terraform have one more advantage. Can split configuration into multiple files. So what is this? Generally, if you write any code, right? If you write some code around till virtual machine, if you write code, at least you will be having around 500 to 600 lines. Okay, 500 to 600 lines code you will have. So all the 600 lines, if it in the same file, then it will be very difficult to identify. It will be very difficult to write the code itself, right? So there are multiple configurations like resource group, VNet, subnet, virtual machine, network security group, and public IP, private IP. So these are all the code. If you write in one single file, then you'll have issues like error handling issues, debugging issues. You'll find. So whereas Terraform has an advantage, right? Each configuration you can write in one file. So you don't need to write the lines in same one file. Okay. Each configuration you can write into multiple files. So for example, resource group code I'll write in resource group file. Okay. VNet code I'll write in VNet file. Subnet code I can write in subnet file. So here you can use something like this. So that would be very easy to identify or very easy to debug your code if any issue comes. If, for example, you found some issue with the network security group, you just go to the network security group file and check out the code whether the code is perfect or not. So if you write the same code in only one file, you should scroll up, scroll down where it is, where the exact code it is. It is very difficult to identify that code. So these are the advantages of the Terraform. Okay. Now so let us see about Terraform installation. I'll go here, Terraform download for Windows, HashiCorp, click on HashiCorp, and you can see this one. Okay, so if you can download the Terraform now. Now, if your laptop is Mac, you can download it from here. As my laptop is a Windows, I'll choose Windows and download AMD 64, download it. So exe will download now. So don't run this exe. Okay, don't run this exe. I mean, if you run it, so you have this exe, don't run it. Instead of that, you just extract that file to one of the folders. So what I've done is, so in the C drive, I've created one Terraform folder. Something where it is Terraform folder. Yeah. Inside drive, I've created Terraform folder. In the Terraform folder, I've copied this exe file. So how? Go to downloads. So this is the zip file I've got it. So double click, or else you can copy it and paste there. Or else you can do one thing, you can extract the file, like right click, extract all. So now you can extract on the C drive Terraform folder. Terraform folder, select folder. Yeah, now extract it. Replace. So now this file will be extracted under the Terraform folder. Now let us run the code now. So the Terraform commands can run from command prompt, PowerShell, or Visual Studio Code Terminal. You can run Terraform commands from these three IDEs, and you can run different IDEs as well. But as of now, in my laptop, you can run these three IDEs. You can run Terraform commands from these IDEs. So let me open PowerShell. So when you open PowerShell, right? Just right click and open as a run as an administrator. Just don't simply just open it. Right click and select as a run as an administrator. So this is the PowerShell. Now where is my exe? Exe under C colon Terraform folder, right? So I'll go to CD Terraform. I'm into Terraform folder. If I said dir, I have the exe. Now you can run the command. Say -version. Now I could able to run the Terraform exe. So from where I'm running it, I'm running from the Terraform folder where my exe is available. Terraform exe hyphen version, I got this information. The same way, if I want to run this Terraform commands from different path, whether it will be able to run or not, as I don't have exe on my C drive. For example, in C drive, I don't have exe. Okay. So whether I could able to run or not now. So earlier, Terraform exe was under Terraform folder. That is the reason I could able to run this command, Terraform hyphen version. Now I'm out of that folder. I'm in different path now. So if I run this command, whether I could able to run or not. So generally, I should not be able to run. But here, I'll be able to run. Why? Because I've done some settings. What settings? I've created environment variable path. Why do we create environment variable path? So that I can run script, I can run these commands from any path. I should create an environment variable path. So if you don't create environment variable path, right? So you need to copy this exe in every path so that it should execute. That is not possible, right? So that is the reason we create environment variable path for this exe. How do you create? This PC, right click and go to properties, advanced system settings, go to environment variables, here path, edit, and you can say new and copy this path. Where is the path? Terraform. So here this equivalent Terraform, you have the exe, copy the path and new, paste it and select OK. But right now I'm already having this path. I don't want to click OK, just I'll cancel it. But in your scenario, you click on OK. Then OK, OK. And once you have applied environment variable path, right, you restart your laptop. Sometimes some issue is there. Once you restart your laptop, yeah, that this affects this changes will be affected. Now you can run the command from any other path. It will work. So this is how you can create a Terraform. Now, for example, I want to write a code now, Terraform code. Okay. So let me see. I can write the Terraform code from anywhere, like Notepad, Notepad++, or any IDEs. You can write the Terraform code. So let me use the code resource Azure RM resource group label name RG1 open bracket name equal to Krishna LOC location is US. So this is the Terraform code now. So if you write code on the notepad, right, are you able to know are you able to know where is the issues? I mean, if do you have any spelling mistakes or not? You cannot identify when you write a code on the notepad. You can see have intention I've written the location information is wrong. Okay, and resource group is wrong. So these are wrong, but still you cannot identify any errors by using if you write a code on the notepad. So that is the reason we use Visual Studio Code. We use Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code, if you write a code on Visual Studio Code, right, it will be different experience. I'll tell you. Okay. The first, you need to install Visual Studio Code. I'll again go back here. Here, Visual Studio Code download for Windows. Enter. Here is the code. As my laptop is a Windows server, so I can download this exe. Select this. Automatically, the exe is downloading now. Run it. Now accept, next, next, and install it. Right now, I'm not going to install on my laptop. I'm already having it, so I'm not installing it. I'll cancel it. So, but in your scenario, just install it. Okay. So once you install Visual Studio Code, just open this Visual Studio Code. You find this. So this is the Visual Studio Code. Now, as soon as you enter it, you install extensions. Go to here, click on the extensions, and install HashiCorp extension. HashiCorp extension. Once you install HashiCorp, right, half of the work this extension will do it. I can say majority of the code this extension will help us how to install it. So right now it is showing uninstall as I've already installed it, but in your scenario it will install will be enabled. Click on that. File it and close it. So now I'll let you know the process of the Terraform. Okay. Now Terraform code will be written on one working directory. I mean, you create one folder that is called as a working directory. In the working directory, you will be creating multiple files like main.tf file. So t.tf is the extension of Terraform. Okay, .tf file is the extension of Terraform. For Python, .py. For Word, .doc. For Notepad, .txt. How it is? So the same way, the .tf is the extension of the Terraform. You can write main, you can write any name in front. Okay. So I generally use main.tf file. Now here I'm writing a code now. So consider this is main.tf file. Now in the main.tf file, you have two major blocks. You will be having two major blocks. So what are those? One is provider block, another one is resource block. So provider block. I'll say provider block. What do you write in the provider block? So we write provider block to which provider you need to work. On which provider you're going to work. Okay. On which provider you're going to work. If you are going to work on Azure, then you'll mention as a Azure RM. So if you're working on AWS, you mention AWS. If you're working on GCP, you're going to mention GCP. So based on your infrastructure, so you'll be writing the provider block. Okay. So as we are running on, as we'll be working on Azure RM, so I'll be writing the provider information as a Azure RM. Okay. The second block is resource block. So in the resource block, what kind of resources you are going to install, like resource group or VNet, subnet, virtual machine. So everything you'll be writing on the resource block. So this is how my main.tf file looks. The main.tf file the main.tf file contains provider block and resource block. In the provider block, when you use provider block, right? So it will connect to the particular specific provider. So once you write a file, right, then you need to run the commands. What are the commands you're going to run? The first command is Terraform init. The first command, Terraform init. So when you initialize Terraform, what will happen? It will deploy, it will download all provided related plugins. So when you initialize Terraform, right, Terraform init is a command. When you initialize Terraform, it will download all provider related plugins. So what is provider? The same way. So as we are working on Azure, it will download Azure related plugins. If you are working on AWS, it will download AWS related plugins. Now, the second command, Terraform validate. So what is validate? When you validate, it verify the syntax. So the code syntax it verifies. Okay. The code syntax it verifies. If any issue is the issue is the issue with the code, it will show you on which line and which code is having problem. It in detail it will show you. Then the third command, Terraform plan. Terraform plan. So what exactly in the plan? So I said right. So it will show it. It will display what it is going to install, but it won't install. It will show on the display screen. So that I'm going to install this, and it will show you, but it won't install it. By looking at the screen, by looking at the information, you can verify the code part. If anything is wrong, you can even change the code. Now you can modify the code. Now after plan, if everything is fine and you want to install it, then apply it. Once you apply it, the resource groups will be created. Terraform apply. Resources will create. Okay. So these are the four commands generally we use it. And we have another command if you don't require it and if you want to destroy everything, I mean if you want to delete everything, you can use command called destroy. Terraform destroy. So when you use Terraform destroy, everything, whatever you have created resources, everything will be destroyed. Okay. So these are the process. What are the commands we use it? Terraform init, Terraform validate, Terraform plan, Terraform apply. So these four, right? Okay, these four commands we generally use it. Okay, if you want to destroy it, you can even use Terraform destroy command to delete all the resources which we have created. Okay. Now fine, we'll do one thing now. We'll write one sample code. Okay, let us write a code. And I am saying you don't try to remember the code. It is impossible to remember the code, but try to understand how code works. Okay. So now let me create one desktop. I'll create one file, one folder I've created. Okay. So this is the Visual Studio Code. I'll go to that path, select file, open folder, desktop, 7, select folder. Now you are into this path now. Same way. Now you are into this path. So let us create one file. You can create file from here itself, or else the best practice is you can create the file from here. How you can create? So this is a, if you select this, it will create a file, it will create a folder. As we required only file, click on this and say main.tf file. TF file is the extension of the Terraform. If you use something, you can see a different logo is coming. When you use TF, Terraform logo is here, it is getting now. So main.tf file. So as I said, right, what are the major blocks? First is the provider block. So let us configure provider information now. Say Terraform Azure Resource Group. Okay. Now registry.terraform.io is the official website of a Terraform. So where you can have n number of code, even different provider information also you have on this website. Now if you go at right side, right, use provider. So this is the provider information. I'll copy it and paste it. Now you have two blocks here, the first block and second block. What is the first block? The first block is nothing but version setting block. Version setting block. And the second block is provider block. So version setting block. What is this version setting block? If you use any version, right, my infrastructure will run on this same version. If you don't use it, it automatically updates the newest version. Right now, the newest version is around 3.6 something. If you don't use it, it will automatically update to the new version. But real-time scenarios in a company, they use version setting block. Why? Because they know that yes, now their infrastructure working on one particular version, so they doesn't have any errors. If they want to upgrade it to new versions, first they'll test it. Once they test it, if everything is fine, then they are going to update the version here. So right now in my lab practice, I don't require version setting block, so I'll delete it. Now here it is a provider block. So where you are saying that provider is Azure RM. Okay. Now by default, Azure RM, Terraform recommending saying that you need to use features block. So just type F, automatically the features is enabling. How you are getting these options? We have created extensions, right? By using that extensions, we are getting this information. You can select this. So feature block, I'm using it. By default, Azure RM is used is recommended to use features block. So fine, save it. The save is important. So the better you do one thing, you click auto save. Whatever the information you have modified, everything will be auto save. That is the best way. Best way. Now it is a provider block. So let us run our code now. So how do you run? I can run on my I can run on PowerShell. So where is this code exactly? This code is on 7 folder main.tfl, right? So I need to go to that code. So let me see the path. Where is the path? Users, Kuchala Kanti, OneDrive, Desktop 7. I need to go to this path to run this main.tfl. So it will be difficult to move the here like cd users. I need to go cd again. This I need to go like this. So instead of this, you can directly right click, copy path and cd, right click, paste it. Directly you can go to this path. So if I say dir, you have this main.tfl. Now the code should run, I mean the Terraform command should run where my script is available. I should go to that path and run the command. Okay. So now what is the first command we are talking about? So here I have folder. I'm only one file now. So if I say Terraform init, initialize. So what I told you, it will download all provider related plugins. So it downloaded. Let me go and check. You can see the .terraform folder. Go to Terraform folder, providers, registry.terraform, HashiCorp, Azure RM. Here it is Azure RM, and the version is 3.66.0. And this is the exe which will be running the Terraform. So this is the plugin I can say. Okay. Now at the same time, if you are trying to use multiple providers, yes, I can instead of Azure RM, let me use AWS. So now you have two providers in main.tfl. Generally, we don't use two providers because we will be working on only one cloud. So now let me run it and I'll show you. Now related to AWS, the provider plugins are downloading. Okay, you go here again, Terraform folder, providers, this is for Terraform, HashiCorp, Now you can see two plugins now, AWS related plugins and Azure RM related plugins. So AWS related plugins will work on AWS cloud, and this plugin will work on the Azure cloud. Okay, this is how you can add multiple providers in the main code. So let me delete this. I don't require it. Save it. I close it again. I want to delete everything now. Okay, now everything is deleted. I have only main.tf file. So here it is product log. So let us write simple resource group. Okay, simple resource group code. So let me use this. So I've already opened it. So this is the example of resource group code. Manage resource group. So Azure RM resource group. Okay. So this is the example of the code. So I'll right click, copy it and paste it here. So what exactly saying? This is resource block. This is resource type, and this is label name. Okay. You just consider this is a whole code is nothing but resource group creation block. Okay, this is the code. The first one is we can say resource block. This is resource type and label name. I say first one is resource block. Second is resource type. And third one is label name. Now, resource block and resource type you should not edit. So if you edit, it won't work. Okay. So you can edit example. I mean, you can edit the label name. You should not edit this resource block and resource type. So I'm going to edit this. You can give anything. I'll say RG1. Now name. So what is a resource group name? You can give any name here. I'll generally use RG-01. And this resource group are deploying on which location? The location information. You can give East US. So this is what my resource group code and provider block. So let us run the code now again. Whether I need to run init again and again, again and again, the initialization is not required. Once if it is run it, then it is fine. Okay, you don't need to install, you don't need to run the Terraform initialization again and again. I'll say Terraform validate. So when I validate right, it will check the syntax of the code, whether code is perfect or not. So if I see here, you can see the configuration is valid. Okay. Now, for example, I told you that you should not edit resource block and resource type, right? So let me edit this. It automatically saves. Again, I'll run it. Terraform valid. You will have error now. So it clearly mentioning that where it is clearly mentioning saying that error invalid resource type and on main.tf file what is the line number 13, it will show the line number 13 in resource. This is the error. This is the error. And they are saying that the provider HashiCorp does not support the resource type called this. Do you mean this? They are giving the answer as well. Okay, now let me change it back. P. Now these are the suggestions. Which one is required? You can use this. Okay, use that. So I'll use resource group. So suggestions will also you also get immediately. Okay. Now let me run the code again. Validate. Yeah, success. Now when you use Terraform plan, what happens exactly? This Terraform will connect to what it does. This Terraform will connect to my Azure cloud and it should install it. but you are getting an error. So why you are getting an error? One second. Okay. Why you are getting an error? Because as I said, Terraform is a third party tool. Okay. This third party tool should connect to Azure cloud. Right. This third party tool should connect to the Azure cloud. So while connecting, it cannot connect immediately, right? It has to use some credentials. So by using that credentials, it can connect to the cloud. So, but whereas did we given any credentials here? No. So you need to create a credentials, and by using that credentials, you are going to connect to the Azure cloud. So generally, we don't provide our credentials. Something here it is Azure group, Azure resource group, sorry, Azure Infra, and these are my credentials. You don't provide our credentials. We generally use service account credentials. Service account credentials. So what is service account? Nothing but service, you can say service principal account. So be it be anything, whenever you schedule any task, right, you don't provide our credentials. You directly provide the service account credentials. Why? If you provide our credentials, what will happen? Generally, in a company's right, your credentials will be resetting the password every 45 days or 90 days. In case your password is expired or something, again there will be issue. The Terraform code will not run. Okay. So that is the reason, right? No one will use a personal account. They use only service principal account to connect to the Azure portal. So how do you create service principal account? Log in into Azure portal, search search for Azure Active Directory and search for app registrations and click on registration. So this is how you can create a service account. So right now I'm going to stop here. Tomorrow I'm going to create a service account. By using the service account, I'm going to connect to the Azure cloud and create the resources. So tomorrow I'm going to continue the same classes. So fine. Any questions till now? Why people are not joining? Not sure. So fine. So let us connect tomorrow. Okay.